Welcome once again to the Intellectual Radio Frontline Show. I'm your host, Tyrone Muhammad, powered by Support Your Local Weed Man, Health Med, ECC, SC, powered by Support Your Local Weed Man. This is the Frontline Show. Live call in 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. I got a great guest today. Get ready to call in because he may make you want to call in. I got Mr. Mark Carter, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Mark, go ahead, introduce yourself to the people that, don't know you. But
Mark Carter, been around for the last 20 years as an activist, fighting issues from housing to jobs to police shootings, whatever, you name it. But today was a great day that I became director of Black Contractors United, which I would say is a transition period for me and the rest of the team that we're putting together to change lives. And so I want to announce that on this show tonight.
You are the director, is it? Of BCU, Black Contractors United.
Yes.
That thing been kind of defunct for a minute, man.
Oh, yes.
In terms of how it was really transparency and getting our contracts up, Black contractors, and really just being pushed over and pushed out by the big major companies.
Yes. And so being that it's the oldest Black contractors organization in the city, formed in 1974, I want to pay homage to Taylor Cotton, and to still one of the living board members, founders, Steve Garth, who was very instrumental in reaching out and seeing that myself and guys like myself and Rock, had the ability to take and breathe life back into Black Contractors United. And so we're going to do just that,
bro. Well, you know how we get down. I'm on it, and I'm working on BICO as well. So we're building in so many different areas, and I know you as well as myself. We constantly pushing for Black contractors to be on these projects,
without a doubt.
Building. As you often say, man, we got $56 billion worth of construction going on downtown, and we not even 1% of the contract.
Oh,
it could be less than that.
Man, I like to say this right here. I like to say this to the listeners as well, as yourself, that it is no way that we should be allowing a 100% Black contract in the Black community to be broken down and give 72% with no conversation, no negotiation. 72% of that 100% goes to white men, not white people, white men. And the remainder of that 28% is split between what they call minorities. Now, there's something wrong with that math if white men make up probably less than 10% of the city, and minorities, as they are called, makes up 90%, or probably even more. So that means that everybody but white men have to split up 28%, and 72% goes to white men.
But this the other thing, Mark. Everybody but white men got to put some acronym in front of their name, or what is alphabets? WBE, GBE, MBE,
WBE, all this
disadvantage,
DBE.
Why don't white men have to do that?
Well, I think that, but before we even get to that part, just think about it. That 72% from the beginning, in the Black community now, 72% of 100 goes to white men. First and foremost, no negotiations,
even in our community,
no conversation. In our community, 72% of 100% goes to white men. But when you look at the 28%, which is 24% minority, 4% women, white women can participate in that. White women that take the money back home to their white man.
Yeah.
So for the most part, that 4% goes back to white men. Then when you look at the bonding companies, you look at the supply companies,
all white on,
the insurance companies,
all white
the
on,
unions,
all
the
white
banks,
on. Right, all white on,
the fronts, the pass-throughs.
Oh, just as well.
So out of 100%, legitimately, legitimate. I don't know how to mess that up. Legitimately, we might on a contract receive 1%.
God,
we might.
Hey man,
maybe 2.
You know, just listening to that, just listening to that, people, y'all out there and y'all listening to this, because you wonder why we always rolling up on these construction sites, why we always fighting for equity. You think we just making noise. The man just told you, out of all the billions of dollars that's rolling through, I see from TIF funding to private dollars, bank money, because everything. The banks are required technically, what is it? Well,
they have a community reinvestment act. They have a HMDA report.
They supposed to,
They don't adhere. They don't include us even in that. And so, it's to the point to where we have to draw a line in the sand. It's time that we draw a line in the sand in our generational time to say, not on our watch.
Exactly.
Not on our watch, because if we allow this to happen on our watch, then we can't turn around and ask why the kids are carjacking us.
That's right.
We can't turn around and point the finger at them for selling dope and shooting and killing and robbing and all those types of things. If we allow all the jobs and all the money to go to white men and white women, in our community, in the black community, and Hispanics, Asians, everybody, Arabs,
Indians,
then there's no way that we can blame our children. See, it's easy to blame the children.
But look, they ready. Y'all ready to go, huh? They already calling in, Mark. They ready to go, and we ready to receive them.
No problem.
This is the Frontline show. Please speak.
Well, hello, you handsome gentlemen.
Miss Karen.
This is Karen Hicks from A Few Good Women.
Hey.
Listen. Hey, Mark. Hey, Tyrone.
Good.
I'm listening to you, Mark. And you know where I'm at? This is where I'm at. The pass-throughs play a major role in what we are not seeing in our community.
Yeah.
Why don't we, let's be for real. Nobody can really do anything to us unless we allow it.
Without a doubt.
And what has happened is a lot of the old cats, let's just say all of them, the pastors, the politicians.
That's them.
I believe if we just tell the truth, all of them have been bought, okay? All of them have so many secrets that they really can't stand up, because if they do, they will expose them as a man. And then majority of them that are running the pass-throughs, they the one that gave the permission for us to be disrespected, to not be fairly put into the business game. And then let's be for real on the other end. A lot of people that have run for office are very ignorant when it comes to business, and they've only ran because their friends told them to run. That's where we at. So it's really like time to push all them to the side, start anew, educate, because the young people are not ignorant at all. There's nothing ignorant about the young people, and they're not following the same old game. But let's really be for real. The old cats took the bag, got disrespected. Most of them are in the closet, so they really can't speak up too much. And we're worshiping cats that are really like little boys and girls. So we're really going to have to push all them out the way, grab these young ones, and start anew. Because they sold a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put this on the table. That's how they can do the new American plan. Come on, bold, say brown and black. Because most of them boys can't speak up. I'm just tired of pretending. Let's just put the shit out there. Let the world know that most of our so-called grown men are little girls. Hey, I love y'all. Enjoy your night.
So thank you, Karen. Listen, man, we're going to, before you answer that, Mark, we're going to go take a quick break. We're going to come back on that subject and topic. So, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in once again. You're watching the Frontline show on Intellectual Radio, powered by hashtag support your local weed man, ECCSC Health Med. Come on back. Let's get it.
Who's this? Who's that? Who's out? Who's now? Who'll follow? Who's hollow? Who's roll? Who's blow? Who's deep in need? Who'll sweat? Who'll bleed? Who will beg it? Who will plead in the land of the free? Who's black? Who's white? Who's wrong? Who's right? Who will stand? Who will fight in the day or the night? Who will speak it? Who will write? Who's protected? Copyright? Sell your soul, sacrifice for the fame in these lights. Let me know what's your price. Who's gonna host these parasites? They don't care about your life. No emotion, cold as ice. Who's fire? Who's hired? Who's a boss? Who's a slave? Who's in purpose? Who's astray? Who's playing? Who's play? What's the cost? Who's paid? What's the loss? Where's the game? Where's your mind? Where's your brain? What are the laws in this game? Who's wild? Who's pain? Who's a child? Who's a blame? Who's normal? Who's strange? Who's forgotten? What's your name?
Welcome back to the Frontline show, powered by supportyourlocalweedman.com, ECCSC, and Health Meds. Got Mark Carter online with us today, live and direct. Feel free to call in. That's 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. We love to hear from you. Be a part of the show. Be a part of the change you want to see. Mark Carter, Karen Hicks just talked about these, and we've had this discussion. You even called in before,
yes, sir,
about these gatekeepers and all these pass-throughs that has been allowed to function for so long. Mm-hmm. And it would be no problem, Mark, if they was passed through, right, but at least be able to transition with an aging construction industry to train our children so we could take over. And then if you'll pass through now, we won't be later.
Right. Well, being the director, and really leading the ship, like I say, BCU has been around since 1974, and to have the opportunity to lead the ship and revive an organization that was dying. Yeah, it was literally dying. To Steve Garth reached out to us, and again, I want to pay homage to Steve Garth from Garth Masonry. This is a dude that's been around, man, for years. He was one of the founding members of Black Contractors United, and he's the last one living. He's the last living member of BCU. Wow! And so, man, I always have to pay homage. I have to stop and make sure as I go forward, man, to pay homage to that brother. You know what I'm saying? God first, and then being the new director and captain of the ship. You know what I'm saying? Man, it is an honor. Yeah, it's an honor. And just, going back to responding to what Sister just said is very much important. It's very much important, and she's correct. With our children dying, these people are a direct result of why our children are dying. Before we went to break, and I was breaking down the math to you all, that it's no way that we can survive. It's no way that we can benefit at the level that we need to benefit and enough people to benefit, where we giving 72% of every 100% to white men. And then of that 28%, 24 and 4, a large majority of that is going to white women who take the money back to white men. The bankers, the supply companies, the bonding companies, the unions. Sure. All of the money is going to the white community. And then we wonder why these children are out here jacking. We wonder why the children are out here on dope, selling dope, robbing, raping, stealing, killing. We wonder why. as adults, we should be ashamed of ourselves to blame our children for being for blaming our children and calling them public enemy number one. And so, to Sister Karen, instead of spending a bunch of time even talking about these people, we're gonna turn. Man, look, I'm trying to be as peaceful as possible.
Listen.
You know what I mean? Because I'm here. I'm representing. I hear you. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I can get very graphic. You know what I'm saying? And we got a reason to be rising up. We got a reason to be speaking up, and we're not gonna be quiet. We're not gonna stand down and allow them to come in and take over our communities. If you want me to lead the ship to be Black Contractors United, then I'm not going to represent us as Black and brown. I'm not going to represent us as minority, people of color. No, we Black people, unapologetically Black. And so in construction, moving forward here in Chicago,
because if
the voice is here.
If you say Black, I expect that's what you present.
Well, just think about it. You got HICIA, Hispanic Association of Contractors.
And they don't make no qualms about
no problem. Let it be known that they're about Hispanics.
That's right.
And then the second part to this is that, you know, I wanted to mention that first, but then I want to go into the conversation about this Office for New Americans. And I want everybody across this, because I'm going to look into this camera and look into your camera. And I want everybody to go and do your research on the Office for New Americans.
That is rough.
In 47 cities.
Serious.
47 cities under Barack Obama.
That's serious.
They implemented these offices for New Americans.
Listen, and go look it up.
Now that Joe Biden is the president and he has the House, the Senate, and the White House, they've expanded it to not only talk about the offices for New Americans, but now legalizing 11 million illegal immigrants, right?
Yeah.
Now, nobody in their right mind that's conscious would support such a thing, knowing that this would be at the expense of our children, of their children. Now, we're not saying stop doing what they're doing, because we don't have the power to say stop doing what they're doing. But let me tell you what we do have the power to say and do. And that is implement our own office for indigenous Black Americans.
That's right.
Descendants of slavery, whatever we choose to call it, in all these cities across the United States of America, we must demand reparations, and also we must demand that they implement these offices, the same equivalent to the Office for New Americans. We must have the Office for Indigenous Blacks of America, or Indigenous American descendants of slavery, whatever you choose to call it. But we must have our own offices just as they have.
You know, and it's interesting because it's often like, here we are, both, yourself included, ex-felons, right? And it's like, to me, we get all these stigmas and everything tied to being formerly incarcerated.
Yes.
But we fight the hardest.
Yes.
It's like we fight for the issues in the and transparency, opportunity, all types of things that has been denied to us while we was doing time in prison. And before we went to prison. So my thing is this, Mark, I'm gonna say, you dealing with the construction. Well, we locked up and locked out. Now we're dealing with this cannabis industry. Well, we locked up and locked out.
Without a doubt.
But both industry, our pastors, politicians, and elders allowed this stuff to go on.
Here's what I say
go ahead.
Here's what I say about the marijuana industry, right? And I ask the question, I often ask the question to Black leadership, especially the older generation, our parents and grandparents' generation, that where's the uprising and outcry and marches about white folks now, quote unquote, legally selling marijuana?
That's right.
That exists now, like it was back in the 90s, where they were going to council meetings asking that each other's children and grandchildren be locked up. Why aren't they saying something about this? I'll tell you why they're not saying anything. Because if white folks tell them that it's legal, then it's okay. And even still right now, if they see young Black men and women selling marijuana, guess what? They criminalize them, but they look the other way and don't have nothing to say when it comes to white folks. It's a disgrace, man, and disrespect. But
Yeah.
you know what? I'm so glad. See, God know how to bring the next generation in to replace those that are blind, to replace those that don't want to see, to replace those that can't hear unless it's talking about their children and grandchildren. See, we wandered in the wilderness up under
40 years.
These blind,
50%.
crippled, and crazy fools leading the charge. But what they understand is 40 years ago, we were those little children. And now we the Joshua generation. And while most of them can't walk or they weak, and I'm talking about the leadership, right? Even though I spoke on our parents, because they played a role in it too. Our parents and grandparents played a role in mass incarceration, the mass incarceration of us.
They did, exactly. They allowed.
But I'm going to talk about the leadership, because
leadership.
the leadership guided them into this madness. Now that it's legal to sell marijuana and white folks have legalized it, think about this, right? They don't have anything to say. First, I want to end with that they don't have anything to say. But if you think about it, the United States government, when it came to lottery, took over lottery.
That's the numbers.
It was privately ran and became government run, right? Liquor,
bootleg, man.
Liquor was illegally sold, and then they made it legal so the government could tax it. Marijuana was illegally sold. They took it and made it legal. Our government is getting their cut. Slavery, went from individual ownership, when they called it slavery, to now calling it mass incarceration, to where the government became slave owners under the 13th Amendment, right?
That's right.
And so what we have to do at this point is to begin to organize ourselves and our children so they don't become mass incarcerated 2.0, because you just elected a president that was very instrumental in the mass incarceration. And I just couldn't figure out for the life of me how our people could get behind that, especially the ones that are of age. I could see the younger ones not understanding and knowing, but the older people, they knew exactly. But I say they went along with it, with this guy, Biden, because they agreed with him mass incarcerating us.
Well,
and so now they're going after our children.
94 Clinton crime bill.
That's right.
So no doubt about it. Listen, people, what he's saying is this: in the weed, here we are. You got 75 licenses given to white men.
Yes.
And every one of these licenses, and I say it all the time, Governor J.B. Pritzker ran to be governor to make his cronies legal drug dealers.
Without a doubt.
These people now, after making $1 billion in the state of Illinois a year, imagine that. You just took, when I was coming up, my customers had a lot of white customers for weed. You just took $1 billion, Mark, off the street. More than that, but we ain't talking about the underhand stuff. We talking about what's on paper.
Without a doubt.
You just took $1 billion off the street and wondering why the streets is like this, right? They made it legal. They made it legal for a reason. Because they wanted to be able to tax the illegal drug sales. Now you make it legal. Now you tax them. And then they claim people, listening good, very carefully. But see, they claim, go ahead.
But see, you expect government to do that.
You expect government to do that.
That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? My problem is with those churches, them pastors, the organizations.
It's so sad, people.
The older generation that had so much to say when there was a call to mass incarcerate.
I sat in the church, Trinity Church, bro, and watched Pastor.
And we're not even talking about cocaine or heroin. We saying marijuana.
And people, mind you, they use weed, but weed was the gateway to crack and heroin. Remember that. We'll be back to that. But Pastor Moss, Trinity Church, sat on there and praised Governor J.B. Pritzker for expungement and make it weed legal, and it was going to change the landscape for our condition. It was going to give us a form of reparation. But but I mean, social progress,
Mhm.
but we didn't have no ownership and no license, no nothing. Plus, this guy didn't speak nothing about reparations.
They set the standards to exclude us, and the pastors and
They
leadership in the
watched
city
it.
allowed this to go on.
And they watched it happen with
Oh,
no
without a doubt.
Do you think we care about expungement without reparations?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
If that was the case, I wouldn't call my organization ex-cons. If I care about you knowing what I was.
You know, in South Carolina, the young brother Julius Malema said on the floor of Congress in South Africa, he say, "Why should I care about you apologizing for apartheid when you still own all the land?"
Right.
What is an apology without you giving back
the
all
land
the resources that you
that
took
you
from us and the
stole.
land that you stole from us?
Yeah.
I don't want no apology from you if it's not gonna come with reparations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're at this position in stage right now where we must lead the ship. It is time for our generation to lead the ship. We've been in the wilderness for 40 years. And either these people move out of the way or they're going to get moved. It's just that plain and simple.
No question.
Through our action, it's going to move them. Through our actions, it's going to make them obsolete. They don't even have the time or energy to lead the charge anyway. But they won't get out of the way. But see, our mass organizing. See, I'm not going to lead the ship with Black Contractors United and not reach all over the city. See, I don't care nothing about no south side and west side, because if we don't unite, we all going to be outside of this city.
Listen,
and so the move now is for us to take Black Contractors United, along with the marijuana industry, and every other industry out here, and we join forces across this city and make sure everybody eat. What you expect for these children to do if you leaving them out there starving? If you don't think you wrong for leaving them out there starving, then what make you think they think that they're wrong for jacking you?
Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you how I feel about it.
You see what I'm saying?
And I mean, put it like this: our elders need to be ashamed of themselves, especially those with means. With that being said, listen, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. But you're listening to the Frontline Show, Intellectual Radio, powered by SupportYourLocalWeedMan.com, ECCSC, and Health Med. We got some more to say, and get ready, because this last 15-20 minutes gonna be real powerful. Come on back.
Who's this? Who's that? Who's hot? Who's now? Who'll follow? Who's hollow? Who's low? Who's low? Who's deep in need? Who will sweat? Who will bleed? Who will beg? Who will plead in the land of the free? Who's black? Who's white? Who's wrong? Who's right? Who will stand and who will fight in the day or the night? Who will speak it? Who will write? Who's protecting copyright? Say your soul sacrifice for the fame in these lights. Let me know what's your price. Who's gonna host? Who's parasites? They don't care about your life. No emotion, cold desires. Who's fire? Who's hired? Who's a boss? Who's a slave? Who's in purpose? Who's astray? Who's playing? Who's play? What's the cost? Who's paid? What's the loss? Where's the game? Where's your mind? Where's your brain? What are the laws in this game? Who's wild? Who's tame? Who's a child? Who's a blame? Who's normal? Who's strange? Who's forgotten? What's your name?
Welcome back to the Frontline Show, powered by SupportYourLocalWeedMan.com, ECCSC, and Health Med. Listen, people, those we was in the cannabis area arena, the construction arena, these two arenas right now, because they've used this expungement tool, this expungement weapon as a tool to shield their dirty religions and practice.
Sir. Oh, yeah.
So always they use ex-felons, violence prevention, they use re-entry, prison reform, restorative justice, social justice, mentor programs where outsiders of our community take these dollars in and they claim to fix the ills of our community. Yet the funding, the billions of dollars that come through our community the year never reach community organizations that's on the ground.
Right.
And the cannabis company, the top 3 in Chicago, and the one more coming, or 2 more coming, are the Cresco's, the PharmaCans, and who is it? GTIs. All have programs, the Lost Prisoners program.
Oh, yes.
Then they have the SEED program that's talking about social equity and cleaning up. Then we got this huge R3 program from the state of Illinois that says that social equity is to be, the tax dollars, 25% of the tax dollars are to repair the ills caused by the war on drugs.
That's right.
That's the 1982 Reagan war on drug, people. Think about it. And that's when crack hit hard. And Noriega, think about that whole era. Now, we was pitching weed, then they gave that crack. We started pitching crack cocaine to our communities. And then the 1994 Clinton crime bill, along with Joe Biden and Obama. Now, I'm going to say it for you people who love Obama so much, in this library about to come up. We're going to be to talk about
and
that
the mayor.
as well. And the mayor ushered in mass incarceration. Now, here we go. Once again, I'm going to say this and I'm going to let Mark close it. Here we are sitting in a situation where these ones made $1 billion a year. I'm talking about, Mark, as it relates to our program, this Health Med group, the smallest cannabis group in the whole city, one of them, had the audacity to donate ECCSC $100,000 towards the vehicles and the stuff that we need.
So just
one group. Now that's just a little group. And what they're saying is, we're not gonna let this government tell us who to give our money to, our tax dollars to, our money to, because the proverbial groups that we keep giving the money to haven't proved to do anything with our community. So they starting to pick and choose. And I'm saying this group, that group, this group, that group. We are responsible.
But you know what I want to do is really just, man, commend you, bro, for taking that fight on. Because I remember when we first did the first protest
in Ogden and
Western at what's the name of that place?
That is called on the corner of Ogden and Western. That medical. It was once a marijuana spot. I don't know the name of that boy.
Yeah, but since then, man, you stayed on top of it and you keep the issue out there. You know, for me, for the most part, I've been, fighting this construction industry for the last 23 years, and that's what my focus has been. And now becoming one of the new leaders of the ship concerning construction, you know what I'm saying? That's just, like I said, that's been my focus. But like I said, I want to commend you for taking that marijuana fight, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's the most unjust issue
without a doubt,
bro.
Without a doubt. And just imagine if they can donate $100,000.
What?
Imagine the kind of money that these people making. And you saying this one is small.
That is not even on the top 3 I just mentioned. Billions.
Yes.
That one. Maybe
it's a small organization.
Million.
And see, what I want you to also pay attention to is the role behind the scenes that the unions are playing.
Wow.
Where the
they
unions
trying to get in the industry.
I'm very clear. And they're controlling the trucking. They're trying to control all the jobs when it comes to marijuana.
That's right.
I remember being at a meeting in Pilsen, and the unions were there. And the unions were there, had a table set up and everything. And so a lot of times we miss this stuff because we get lost in the shuffle. We don't really pay attention to things that we should be paying attention to because we too busy. I'll just say paying attention to the wrong things.
Yeah.
When these people have set up shop on corners, no different than we were out there on corners selling drugs. They set up on corners. Look, the first ones that set up on the corners was Walgreens selling drugs. Then Starbucks set up on the corner selling liquid caffeine drugs. And down you got the marijuana drug dealers on the corner. But we've been trained
protected by the police.
Protected by the Chicago police.
We was arrested by the police. They're protected by the police.
Without a doubt.
For the same product.
For the same product, And once again, I say that the same people that call the police on us, and we their children and grandchildren, They call the police on each other's children and grandchildren. And some of them call the police on their own children and grandchildren. Have nothing to say about these white folks doing the same thing.
Well, because a lot of them are led by their pastors and politicians and their so-called
so is it that their pastors and politicians are being quietly funded by the marijuana industry?
No question. Believe me, you don't make billions.
See, I'm being sarcastic because I'm very clear that they are being funded by it. That's why they're looking the other way.
No doubt.
I'm being clear that the police are being funded, you know what I'm saying, by this because they're looking the other way.
But the R3 program, that's supposed the equity from that.
Hardest hit. They talk about the hardest hit areas by the mass incarceration and the war on drugs.
Supposed to go to repair that damage caused by the war on drugs.
Yes, sir.
But yet the police receives a portion of that money too.
Oh, without a doubt.
So
to protect the drug spots.
So what did the police do that they deserve a portion of the money?
But just think about that part. The police are protecting drug spots. Well, I remember when we went and protested on Western that day. Yeah. It was cold outside.
Man.
You remember seeing those police sitting over in the gas station and all that? They were protecting the drug spot. But worse than it all is that black leadership has nothing to say about these people.
Remember when I was put out the city hall for standing on Walter Burnett and them?
Without a doubt.
This was
and right after they put you out, then they put me out. They put the police on me and put me out.
And it was the same issue. I'm saying, how you gonna vote for these guys to own cannabis dispensaries, and we're not in the mix of the conversation? They don't even respect the fact that we have the Dacias ex-felons to stand up against.
But see, here's what we go moving forward, because a lot of times we spend a lot of time talking about the problem, but we know we're men of action. We know we go and meet them head on. From construction to cannabis, we meeting them head on.
Yes, sir.
And so going into this spring, see, we in prep time now. Yeah. We prepping. We prepping for the spring. Like you say, they better get ready.
Get ready.
If you remember the old Arab Spring, they better get ready.
We got tents now to pitch out there all day and night.
Oh man. Look. Before we go, I want everybody on here, because we kind of got up off of talking about the Office for New Americans. Go do your research on the Office for New Americans. I want everybody to Google Office for New Americans.
Somebody check that out and type that in. Office of New Americans.
Office for New Americans. Office for New Americans.
For New Americans.
It might be of or for, whichever one you'll
pop up.
Now I want you to check out Office for New Americans, and then I want you to Google Task Force for New Americans. The Task Force for New Americans is a national initiative that came in 2014 after Rahm Emanuel in 2011 pushed for Office of New Americans in Illinois, in Chicago. So it all was birthed right out of Chicago. And the Office for New Americans basically is where all of the resources that we've been marching for, fighting for, dying for, getting dogs sicked on us, water hoses spread on us, slavery and all of this. Now, those resources are being given to all these different groups of immigrants from Africa, immigrants from Mexico, Asia, Poland, and everywhere else that you can think of. Immigrants can come here without even having to ask for the resources, and they're giving it all to them. The Office for New Americans. Google and do your research on the Office for New Americans. It's going to blow your mind. This is one of the major things that we're going to push this summer.
This is what I don't understand,
not summer, this spring. We're going to start this spring.
We're going to hit the ground. Understand, bro. And that's why, bro, when I see them pastors and politicians standing in front of them cameras, I disrupt them as much as I can.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because they can no longer speak for us.
Without a doubt.
They have already proven that they have no
die. They've allowed us to go to jail. They allowed us to starve. And you think that we're going to listen to them? We are not those that came before us that stood down and went for this. And we learn as young people from watching our parents and our grandparents on what not to allow to happen.
Tracy. Tracy just she just put it in there, newamerica.org. New America, right? Okay. New York government, New York Gov, New Americans, New Gov. So she just posted it all. She sent the link. She just put. Thank you, Tracy.
But what we want you to do when you look up for Office of New Americans, I want you to look up the 47 cities that Barack Obama pushed them into. Right, those 47 cities was just the beginning. Now that Biden is in office, which means that Barack Obama is back in office again, Now they're saying across the country, give all the resources to the immigrants because black folks don't want nothing. The black folks don't want to go to college. Black folks don't want a job. Black folks don't want contracts. And so they basically eliminated us across the board.
This is what I want to know. What have the president, this is state,
Mm-hmm.
what has he said or done as it relates to the construction industry that has
Nothing.
locked us out?
Nothing.
The prison industrial complex in this whole state, what has he done? He say nothing. And his cannabis industry,
Nothing.
And now he wants to build a library. Or
That's going to gentrify. That's the library that's going to gentrify everybody from just say Roosevelt Road into Roseland, Roosevelt Road to Roseland, into Gary, Indiana, where the third airport is, that they've already rehabbed already. They have already did the reconstruction of the third airport in Gary, Indiana. And so, which is going to be the rich man's playground. Gary, Indiana, where black folks, where Michael Jackson is from, is going to be the rich man's playground, you know? And you ask, what have they said? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And so we have to say something.
Yeah. So we will be visiting this Obama library. We'll figure out who all the parties are that's supposed to be on that project. And we'll be visiting each one of you all personally. And we're not coming by ourselves.
Right.
Our sons that's dying out here, we're going to offer them the opportunity to get free. We're going to offer them an opportunity towards resources and revenue so they can stop killing each other.
That's right.
We're going to show them who been taking their money,
That's right.
who been selling them out, who been backdoor dealing on our children, and who's responsible for mass incarceration and gentrification. And we ain't talking about no white folks either.
And see, you can't speak out against the carjackings if you're not going to speak out against the corruption.
Come on.
The corruption breeds the carjacking.
Come on.
But see, they want you to limit it to the children. No, we're not going to beat up on our children if we're not going to beat up on the system.
Ain't no question.
We're not going to point the finger at our children. We're not going to point at the system. But I know most of y'all don't want to say anything about the system because the system is either paying you or you fear these people or you want to love them or you want to live with them.
They want to play the game so they can get some 501c3.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
That's why anytime I receive something, I've said I was going to do something, I got money, I bought the trucks, I did this, and even with the money, I even put it online. People hide that type of stuff. I ain't gotta hide because we transparent. Listen, I'm gonna get what I want in this world life as long as I'm alive without stealing.
You will serve other people. You're serving other people, so you don't have to
steal from the people to eat.
And it's public information anyway.
What are you doing? Right. So we do this underhand stuff and we marginalize our community and lock our people out and think we should supposed to still receive respect. You're not going to receive respect no more in this city. Matter of fact, we're going to start calling y'all out so bad, you're going to run away from this city.
Look, because I know we probably don't have that much time left. I'll say it again. Don't tell me nothing about the kids carjacking you and you won't speak up to the system that's starving them. And some of y'all playing a role with it, partner with the system starving them. So if you don't think it's nothing wrong with you starving these children, why should the children think it's something wrong with them carjacking you?
The Democratic Party,
that's right.
We are mass incarcerated in this state and the country. We are killed record wholesale by police. We are violence is at an all-time high.
Yes.
We are unemployed. What else we are? Can we keep going?
Every bad that you can possibly think of.
Our carjacking at a higher rate. Don't you? That's telling you something. That's speaking to you, person. And then we are more locked out as grassroots organizations because these top-heavy white-led organizations get all the resources. But guess who they call to respond to the crap?
The people that got the real connection to the community.
And we don't receive any benefit or reward for nothing that we do but criticism and disrespect. So, Ma, with that being said, tell the people, where they can reach you, find you, and
Well, you know what? I make it real simple and easy to reach me. You can call my cell phone 1-312-905-3962. It's 1-312-905-3962. We're open book.
Hey, no question.
We the real deal.
Yeah.
All this grandstanding and getting medals pinned on you for nothing. No, we don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Don't pin no medals on me for nothing. Right. You know what I'm saying? I feel it's disgraceful for me to let you pin a medal on me for doing
what you supposed to, right? For nothing,
but doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want no medals pinned on me. Period. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. Don't pin no medals on me. You know, because I'm doing my God-given job, and that's protecting and providing for my community, for women and children.
Yeah, and with that being said, I say to you people, look, support those who fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop supporting these pastor politicians who hide behind COVID, who hide behind violence, who hide in the closet, out the closet, around the closet. Stop supporting these people, man, that don't serve your best interest. And listen, people, we're about to build a major political movement and party with these young folks, because the ex-felons and the disenfranchised are the biggest voting bloc in the city, in the state.
You know, I want to say to everybody that this Clubhouse app, right? Clubhouse, has revolutionized communication across the world, across the globe. You know what I mean? And I've been on the Clubhouse app for maybe a month now, and I've been able to really open up conversations and really find out what's going on in these various different cities and across the country. You know what I mean? Across the world in general. And what has been shocking by listening to the Clubhouse app, what's been shocking you all is the fight that goes on between descendants of slavery, right, and non-descendants of slavery from the diaspora. Now, I've been one of the main people to saying that, you know, we all black and those are our brothers and sisters, and they are. But let me tell you something. When it comes to that Office for New Americans, they are intentionally, and I learned this through Clubhouse now, by communicating and talking in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the Somalians have taken over Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the Somalians are killing black children, you know what I mean? Because they've taken over the area. They've taken over the congressional seats, all the political seats. I've learned how they've come to this country and undermining our community. And black leadership, like, you know, those of old in Cobra, have been telling us about this Pan-African movement. And I'm saying this because it all falls up under this Office for New Americans.
Mm-hmm.
They're checking the black box, the word black on the box, and getting resources that they know should go to the descendants of slavery. And none of them stop to even say, well, hey, wait a minute, Mayor Lightfoot, with this Office for New Americans in Chicago, what about the descendants of slavery? They don't do that. They don't say anything about it, and then have the nerve to call us xenophobic. They have the nerve to fight with us on Clubhouse. I mean, I want everybody to get on Clubhouse and start getting in those rooms and listening to what's going on across the globe. You know what I'm saying?
When you get out, send that link to this.
Man, Clubhouse is one of the most powerful apps that I've ever seen be created. And with that Clubhouse app, man, it's really opened up my mind as almost a 50-year-old man. Opened up my mind to the levels of what's going on with us across the United States as well as across the globe. And so
Clubhouse app,
and do your research on the Office for New Americans. It's going to blow your mind what's happening with the Office for New Americans.
So with that being said, I'm going to have Mark back. You know, we got a huge summer. We're going to build this platform, intellectual radio platform, in the Frontline show, in a way where we're going to deliver real information, frontline news, and be about the people all summer long. And y'all watch the type of people we're going to get on this show and get this information delivered to you and not drop the ball anymore on our progress. So with that being said, listen, you're tuned in again to the Frontline show, and please come back next week. Mark, and you're welcome to come on anytime you want to.
Hey,
it's time we're trying to smoke everybody out. So let's go. And we have the platform on multiple platforms in the arena to do just that. Remember, hashtag support your local weed man. Take care. Birthday, February 14th, people. 50, big 50. 5 more, I know we ain't gonna